Hello and welcome to another edition of Eyesock at StarCraft. I am your host, Eyesock, and there is definitely reason to believe that I do sock at StarCraft, and there is no better wisdom than to take it from the defeated and the losers of the pack as they realize their mistakes and throw it out there for the rest of the world to see. And today, this series, I wanted to go over to some of the new players, the difference between micro and macro. You might hear these terms a lot from people like Husky and HD StarCraft and Day 9, and not know, well, what are they talking about? What is micro and what is macro? Macro is making massive amounts of units. It's trying to get the buildings under control so you can quickly make more guys, and so you can go and use those guys later on and start to micromanage, and which will go into micromanagement. And that's where you take a guy and you tell him to go do something. Micromanagement would have been like when Mr. Angelus here went over here and started on this gateway. He grabbed the hold of the single probe and said, hey, go make that. Or that probe, which said, hey, go make the acetylator. That is micromanaging. It's the movement, placement of your units, telling it to do certain things, instead of on the whole, which micromanagement, which is tell your guys to mine minerals as fast as you can, whereas if you look at the Nexus, it's centered on a mineral field and he's just kicking out probes to go mine that. And in this game, he will be versing against Mikael, the former Eyesock, and this was a really epic game. It went back and forth, and we shall get into it. I really enjoyed this game, even though it just really came down to the wire. It was just awesome. As you will see, we got a pylon coming down here for DarkAngelus. He wants to be able to see, make sure I'm not scouting early, I'm not attempting any trickery. He's actually, right now, he is supply locked, and that's why he had to wait on that zealot there. Meanwhile, I am doing very well in the supply area. I have 26, 21 out of 26. Let's go ahead and take a look at the income tab. As you'll see right now, I am behind in harvesters, but that's normal because now I got a mule going. Mules are awesome for the Terran because they suck in a lot of mineral, and it's all about macro, which when you're a new player, that's what it's all about. It's not so much about the micromanaging, it's about macro. It's about pulling in lots and lots of mineral and making lots of units. But right now, I am actually ahead of you with less harvesters because of the mule. So mules are awesome. I can't stress that enough. And we'll see what I'm going to do here. Actually, I'm going to make a mistake here, and I don't know this map very well. This is back when I was kind of a newbie player, and I made lots of mistakes. Here's another mistake, letting that SCV just chill and not do anything. I mean, this SCV chill and not do anything. This should be already smacking down a reactor. It's not. Instead, I am opting to... There we go. There's our reactor. Instead, I am going to start trying some Reaper play. And I really am a big fan of the early Reaper play. Reapers are only good for about the first, like, maybe 6 to 8 minutes. After that, they lose pretty much all effectiveness. There's no point in really rocking the Reapers after that. If I was a smart man, I would actually already be expanding with this massive hoard of mineral that I just have sitting back on. But I decided not to. I decided instead, let's build a factory and not throw down another mule. I'm just making massive mistakes. I really could be doing a lot better on my macro game. Instead, I am not. I do make these Reapers, however, and we'll go over what I do wrong on this Reaper play. Like I said, early game, big fan of Reapers. I like to make 2 or 3 and run out with them, get some early scouting info, and harass a little bit of worker. Yes, you'll almost guaranteed you will lose your Reapers. I will guarantee it. They will die. but the knowledge that you get from looking into it, getting into their base, looking around. If you look at his base, I couldn't even bring one guy in here, even a few. Even if I, went out with an early push and I had, we'll say, Marauders and Reens on the early game right now, is that I would not get anywhere close to even getting anywhere near inside of his base. I would not have any clue what he was doing. I'd come up here, he would force field the way in really quickly, and I would get nowhere fast. So instead, I am going to run these Reapers, and I'm going to get some valuable information, actually, as you will see. I'm also doing this little starport trickery here. As you'll see, you make your factory, you throw down a reactor, then you jump your starport on the reactor and start making medvacs. But that's for another. Here I go. I'm going to start running my Reapers around, and I make a big mistake here. As you'll see, I am trying to go off this map. I really just tried to macro this. I macroed this when I should have microed it. I really should have just told it to come from this direction. Maybe even below the rocks, so that way he has no protection for this. He has to all of a sudden spread his defense from his front gate to here, and really Reapers would have been the best because they do a lot of damage to structures, and well, rocks are structures. So I really did bad there. I just lead them to their death, and I get no information actually from him. So Reapers wasted. That's about 150 mineral and gas just wasted and thrown to the wayside. And as he continues to build up his army, however, I'm not slacking either. I was pretty smart in my newbie days, and I decide, well, let's not go that route. Let's